6 ways to secure free tree removal. I'm Ben McInerney, a certified arborist. I have over 20 years experience in the industry, and I've got a few inside ways where you can save heavily on tree removal, or in some cases get free tree removal. It's worth pointing out from the get-go that nobody actually works for free. You're not going to get a tree removal service that will come around and remove your tree free of charge just because you're a senior or a veteran. They have bills, expenses, they've got houses to pay for, children to feed. It just doesn't work like that. So the money does have to come from somewhere. That being said, there are a few things you can do. Nurseries and landscapers. So nurseries carry all sorts of different plants, from very small to very large. So if you have a landscaper doing a job where they're installing a pool and the owner wants established palm trees around the pool, they have to come from somewhere. So there are opportunities for you to sell your tree. It does work a little bit better with palm trees. Palm trees are a lot more sought after as an established tree. The bigger the tree gets, the harder it is to sell. But companies are definitely looking for trees. So your best bet is to ring round local nurseries, ring round landscapers, and ask them if they are in the market for an established tree. If it's a huge oak tree or pine tree, you've probably got little chance of selling it. If it's too big, it's probably not going to work. But if on the bigger side, there are ways to reduce the costs just with the excess timber that you have, and we can get into that. Logging companies are only on the lookout really for large quantities of timber. If you're in a residential area and you've got a single tree that needs removing, a logging company, which is different to a residential tree service, they're not going to come out and remove your tree for free. It's just not going to happen. If you have maybe an acre of wooded land and trees that are commercially viable that they can then cut down, take to a mill, and then sell the timber, then you might be able to negotiate something there. But a single tree in suburbia just isn't happening. If you are on land and you have trees, they don't have to be perfectly straight pine trees like this, but it does depend on the timber. And again, the money does have to come from somewhere. Everyone needs to make a profit. So, yeah, I suggest ringing within the state first, logging companies, if you do have large volumes of timber, and see if you can get a deal done with them. Utility companies. This only works if your tree is growing into power lines. So if it's on your property, it's growing into either the service line going to your house or on the street power lines. Utility companies always want to protect their asset, which is the power lines. They'd be more than willing to come out and at least trim the tree, and in some cases, remove the tree entirely free of charge. Assistance programs. So assistance programs varied from state to state. There are national assistance programs. Some of the big ones nationally are Tree Assistance Program, TAP, more for farmers, orchards, nurseries, vineyards. If they lose a large number of their crop, the TAP will help pay for the removal of the damaged trees and restocking. But then you've got FEMA for debris removal assistance, which is basically in the case of a hurricane or a big storm, and you've got tree debris everywhere, or even just trees falling over. FEMA can definitely help with that. The Harold K. Orr Foundation is a good one. Therefore, mainly aimed at seniors who are unable to pay for household jobs that need to be done. Just say you have a roof that needs repaired. You obviously can't live in a house with a leaking roof. The same goes with a tree that's become dangerous and needs to be removed. Veterans also have things available to them. Project Evergreen offers trimming and other service to veterans. But make sure you look into these. In a lot of cases, they are for actively deployed veterans, not necessarily retired veterans. So they help you look after your home while you are away. So there might not be a free service in it for you. But if you are a veteran, a lot of local companies do offer discounts, 5, 10%. So it's just a case by case basis. You'll just have to look into local tree services and see if they offer that. And while we're on the subject, it is worth noting that homeowners insurance will pay for tree removal if the tree has fallen due to a natural disaster, or even if it's not a natural disaster, even if it's just fallen over, it's damaged something on your property, they will come in, remove the tree, and fix whatever's been damaged. Now, if the tree is dead, you might have problems. because if it's dead and it's fallen over, it's most likely due to neglect. A tree needs to be dead for many years before the roots rot out and it finally will fall over. So be careful there, but again, it will depend on your level of insurance. Next up, number 5, city removes trees for free. Now, the city will only remove a tree for free if it's on city property. They generally won't come onto your private property and remove a tree. It needs to be dangerous, lifting footpaths, maybe hard up against a building, leaning over your house. There are cases where if you have a tree on your property and if it's sick, dead, or dying, and the potential hazard for it falling on pedestrians or on a road is significant, and you point this out to them and you have no way of paying for it, then in a lot of cases they will come to the party. But again, it does depend, and it's a case by case basis. Lastly, split the difference. So tree removal services, in a lot of cases, well, in most cases, it's a lot more difficult to clean up the tree after it's been taken down than actually cutting the tree down itself. So you can negotiate with a tree service. So when they come out to give you a price, ask them for a quote to remove the tree entirely and a quote to cut down the tree, leave all the logs, and just remove the brush. When you have the logs there and the rest of the trees taken away, take a photo of them, put it on Facebook Marketplace, and put an auction or a fixed price. Generally, if it's green timber and still needs to be dried, you might get $50, $60 per cubic meter. If it's dead and dried, you probably get upwards of 100 or more. And again, it does depend on the state and city that you live. But this is a great way to recoup some of the costs. Now, this method obviously isn't free tree removal, but again, if you've exhausted all resources and you just can't get it removed for free, this is one way to mitigate the costs. Another good way is if you get your quotes in winter. So tree services in most cases are seasonal. In winter, not a lot of landscaping, lawn mowing, tree removal, tree trimming happens in winter. But the tree service is still there. They still need work. So they are hurting in those periods. And generally, because of the supply demand, you will find they'll reduce their prices by at least 10% in order to win your job and keep them afloat during winter. So a good tip is to get the tree service to at least quote the job in winter. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment, or you can go to our website, www.gotreequotes.com. Once there, you can take advantage of our free service to get you matched with local tree services. So we do all the background checks so you don't have to. All tree services are insured. They are certified arborists, and they have been voted by previous users as being the best in the area. So it's an obligation-free service. So once you do ask for a comparison of 3 quotes, you enter your details. We forward those on to 3 local tree services. They then contact you and come around, have a look at the job, give you a price, but it's going to save you loads of time doing the research yourself. I hope this has been helpful. Again, please leave a comment and give us a thumbs up if you've liked the video.